is the Barrett-Jackson auction of former fine U.S. automobiles, just to see what the prices they're going to get for some of those classics.
Well,
I think they could be breaking records.
Well, and I go the cheap route. I'm not the elite, the affluent like you are, Mr. Noel. I just sit and watch the Mecum auto auctions. But I noticed something. Have you noticed the amount of cars that are coming up for sale?
Oh, sure. I mean, I was there. I mean, the tents were full. I mean, there wasn't an empty parking spot in any of the dozen or so tents that they have erected at the auction site.
So the people that formerly had money and they still have a lot of play toys while there's a market to sell it.
No, I think people just realize these are assets. I mean, they're real. It's tangible. It's like gold, for goodness sake.
Wait a minute. No, you're not here to tell me that somebody that buys these cars for $500,000 or $1 million doesn't realize it's an asset?
Oh, yeah, it's a big asset.
Well, yeah, it is.
It's big business.
I mean just think how much gold you can buy right now for $1 million and what it's going to be worth in a couple of years.
Let me tell you what, the Chinese may not be able to buy the latest car that China Cherry is producing, but I tell you what they are buying. They're buying gold and silver because they've been encouraged by the government to do so. And so how long we can keep on producing paper, gold, and silver to cover up the shortage in physical gold and silver, well, it's only a matter of time before that reality strikes on.
Well, I wonder if they finally got the idea. Let me see. If I've got a card I can put on the auction block now for $1 million, and in a couple of years I could more than double my money, and, oh, by the way, go back to the new distressed owner that will probably sell me that car back for 1/4 of what I sold it for. People with money, it's always a buying and selling market, isn't it? Let's go back to the phones here. Dan in Texas. Hello, Dan.
Yes, sir. They're taking my call.
Yes.
See, I mentioned the controlled gas, oil prices and gold prices. My great-great-grandfather owned what is now part of Ford County is here in Texas, and they chopped it up and the U.S. took it away from us. It's a joke there. But anyway, it's been, going to hell and back. But I did inherit 5 natural gas leases, and the drilling company sent me the contract to sign, and they're going to drill in March of this year, and this in less than hours before they're digging up the dirt. I was told they're not going to drill because the price of gas had dropped. And but I did contest one of the wills several years ago involving many hundreds of acres, oil rights and everything, and lost in court. My lawyer got disbarred in case I went to court, so I lost because of statute of limitations. And I did not sue the lawyer, and the lawyer I hired to sue the lawyer said, well, my son was murdered 3.5 years ago. He shot to death brutally after graduating from college magna cum laude. But the lawyer that I hired to sue, the disbarred lawyer, looked at me and said, I wonder how many more people are going to lose their lives as I dare contest that will. And I'm a disabled veteran, and because I can get Social Security early because of it, and I get my Social Security disability insurance check from the Social Security. I'm shorted $900 a month every month now for several years, and I've got the proof of it, and I can't do anything about it because they told me, well, if you dare go to the so-called hearing.
Wait a minute, Dan, slow down here a second.
Okay.
You mean to tell me that you're sweating your Social Security payments or benefit from the government, and you're sitting on 4 wells, gas wells?
Well, they didn't drill, so I was trying to say they decided not to drill. Just hours and hours. That very week, they decided not to drill because the price of natural gas dropped.
Well, I tell you something. Natural gas closed today at $5.57 BCF, and that's not all that bad in the scheme of things. It wasn't 3 months ago. It was $2.50. So I think you ought to bring that to their attention.
Well, I did, and my sister's involved with half of the inheritance. And they said that they're using this land in a reserve. Instead of drilling it like they're planning to, they're going to keep it in a reserve. I guess after I drop dead, my kids can get it because I won't be around to enjoy it.
Look, moneyed people will sit there and wait till you're most vulnerable or wait till you're dead. Why don't you try contacting other companies that would
Well, you can't do that. The federal government decides which company drills in which area. It's a federal government controlled to avoid companies drilling oil wells 6 inches apart.
Okay. See, well, obviously I don't.
Land they can drill on.
Dan, obviously I don't move in those kind of circles because I don't have a gas or oil well in my backyard.
But he does have an outhouse.
Yes, I have a functioning outhouse. I'm just out of line. The neighbors are hating me because of the stench.
That's how thoroughly controlled this is. If you got mental rights, they're going to screw you unless they think. Like I ran for mayor of Houston. I've had threats and I had my phone cut off and been attacked and during the dark walk out my front door. So I think once you get on their list, buddy, you're doo-doo. I think I qualify for that one.
Well, if you've got something, you're a special brand of doo-doo. They'll sit and wait you out.
Oh, they'll win. I'll drop dead and they'll win.
Yeah. Well, do you have anybody you can leave this to?
Well, no, I can't lease it. They won't drill.
No, leave it. Not lease. Leave it to.
Well, yeah. Well, I did. My son was shot to death, like I said, but I got some nephews and nieces, and they're all a bunch of drunks. Maybe they'll be qualified.
Oh, God. Oh, man. Well, Dan, hey, I'm happy and
it's been very enlightening.
Yes, I'm happy and I'm sad for you all at the same time.
Oh, I could talk for hours. The whole thing's insane. It really is.
Yeah, well, I'm getting that headache. Anyhow, thanks, Dan. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.
Thanks for your call. I didn't know that this was, and the government can say who can drill and who can't. I did not know that.
Well, how about all the oil and gas wells that have been shut in?
We're folks in this country, what we have access to, we're swimming in gas and oil. But to hear these clowns, oh, it's just a horrible market. It's a bad market. Really? Yeah. All right, then. 800-313-9443. I know you all are waiting for the last half hour. You do it all the time. We are back. Let's continue with the calls here. Dan in Texas. Hello, Dan. No, he's not there. What did you say? I can't hear you because of the soundproof window. Oh, it's called Refresh My Screen. Terry in Texas. Hello, Terry. Hi, Terry.
How goes it?
What's on your mind?
Of course, I have many questions, but I will try to limit it. Studying this bond market, looks like to me as though if you're looking to draw analogies, it's like a guy walking a tightrope 1,000 feet up with no safety net and a gale force wind.
Well, the good news is you can only die once.
But I wanted to ask Mr. Chapman about interest rate swaps. And it's my understanding with interest rate swaps, I suppose it's weird. It's like they're all derivations of the same game, but, in different areas. But this interest rate swaps, isn't it true, Mr. Chapman, that on the interest rate swaps, I suppose it's the same with the credit default swaps, that there's no floor or ceiling in the sense of no floor to the losses and no ceiling to the gains?
It's naked on both sides of the market. And your derivative is only as good as the person or company that wrote it. And so look what happened to AIG. They went naked, and they went under, and there was nothing there. And so the Federal Reserve decided that they would allow the American citizens to shell out $112.4 billion to replace the money that AIG could not replace because they didn't have it. And the excuse was we have to keep those institutions from going bankrupt.
Well, isn't that the same thing that's going on in the bond market when they basically they're just paying a little bit of premium to keep the wall of paper that it's like holding back walls of, meaning walls of water in the sense of the paper, by continually running around and sticking little holes in the dike before it gets ready to burst.
That's correct.
It's a monumental problem.
It's only a question of when.
I'm surprised there's not more people that are really. I'm not that financially savvy, but that look at this market. I'm surprised there's more people. How do you, if let's say you're an academic, working for the University of Texas or USC or these other people, why aren't these people how come they're not coming to the forefront and advising these people as to, these people are really schooled in this. How come they're not coming to the forefront and screaming at the top of their lungs to people, letting them know this whole thing?
Maybe they are, Terry, but there's no microphone while they're standing there screaming. I mean, if you got an economic professor at University of Southern California yelling at the top of his lungs, can you hear him here in Texas? Nobody's putting microphones in front of these people's faces anymore.
Yeah.
If you watch the financial news services, where we used to have these shifts up there before, and a sundry other people spelling the marketplace, the doom and gloom, and making accurate predictions of what their people are going to be facing, they don't put these people on anymore. And now they've come up with their own brand of wisdom that I swear, Bob Chapman, that you can listen to these guys, and there's like this informational vortex hole where it takes 3-4 months for them to come around and say the exact same thing that we said 3-4 months ago.